is Valley News Live at 4.
Good afternoon, everyone. Two Moorhead parents made an emotional plea today, still searching for truth after their two boys died in a crash on I-94 6 years ago. Ray and Kathy Kavalvag have filed a new lawsuit claiming that the crash report has inaccurate information and some involved have mixed business and personal relationships. Zach and Connor Kavalvag died after Zach lost control of the vehicle on their way to a Park Christian school basketball tournament. The boys' father, Ray, said today that the vehicle the boys were directly behind cut a semi off, causing it to swerve into the passing lane where the Kavalvags were driving.
I can make my own money. I say that to everybody. I'm not worried about getting anybody else's money. They're worried about money. I'm worried about the truth.
That lawsuit goes on to say the coaches didn't check on their players after the crash and lied to law enforcement about the facts of the accident. The Kavalvags lost a wrongful death lawsuit in 2019 against Park Christian and one of the coaches. Fargo police are asking for help identifying a man in a fight outside the old Broadway in downtown Fargo. It happened early Sunday morning. This video is being shared on social media and shows a man who appears to be held on the ground and hit by another man. Fargo police are investigating but hoping to speak with the man who was hit. If you know who he is, call dispatch at 701-451-7660. The downtown Fargo Street Fair is underway. You're looking live there at the 8 blocks of local vendors set up, but people are not only contending with the smoke today, but also the heat. Here's Hutch with the first look. Hutch.
Now that air quality index is quite low. The smoke, unhealthy levels of smoke here in Fargo and across the region as we go through our late week day, and it's also warm. Now we do, for the smoke, have a first alert weather day declared for today, and we will wrestle with smoke in the forecast this weekend. Take a look at this beneficial rainfall, but really only 1, 2, 3 little areas of it. Grand Forks County right in the center. The good news is these are slow movers, so beneficial rain and quite a bit of it falling in central Grand Forks County. Griggs, Steele County also seeing some lightning with this, small hail from this cell, but I don't anticipate severe. The bad news, not nearly enough of us are going to see any of the thunder shower activity. Let's go over the smoke forecast here at the surface. Look at this. We go into Friday. A nice breath of fresh air moves into eastern parts of North Dakota and the Northern Valley while it stays smoky across Minnesota in the green colors here. But when you see oranges and reds as we go into Saturday, look at what comes back at us from the south. Another batch of some pretty intense smoke spills back into the region for Saturday. We'll be watching that before tonight. If you're out and about, 80s continue right through sunset. Then we're off into the 70s, south winds and smoky skies. I'll have details on your weekend outlook and a hot forecast here in a minute.
All right. Thanks so much, Hutch. A man is facing several charges after barricading himself inside a Fargo motel room with a knife. 59-year-old Kevin Brushwine was arrested for terrorizing, preventing arrest, drug paraphernalia, and 2 unrelated warrants. The SWAT team was called to try and make contact with him. He was barricaded for more than 4 hours. That all happened at the Super 8 motel off of Interstate Boulevard. Guests were evacuated from their rooms while police tried to sort things out. The SWAT team eventually set off a flashbang to distract him and took him into custody. A man is behind bars after leading Moorhead police on a chase this morning. Terrence Garrick was arrested for fleeing police and reckless driving. Police got word of a suspicious car in the 300 block of 34th Street North early this morning. The car was wanted in connection to a previous threat call in that area. The officer tried to pull the car over, but it took off. Police had to deploy stop sticks to stop it. In Detroit Lakes, officers spent 6 hours looking for an intoxicated man in the water overnight. That call came in just after 11 outside the Holiday Inn. Officers and deputies got boats and searched the lake, but they couldn't find him, so they called for more resources. Many agencies, along with staff from the hotel, assisted in that search. The man walked up to a command post around 5:30 this morning and told police he was the person they're looking for. No charges will be filed. The U.S. Surgeon General issued the first health advisory of the Biden administration, calling for a war against COVID misinformation as the Delta variant is on the rise. Natalie Brand has details from Washington, D.C.
The U.S. Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy, calls health misinformation an urgent threat to public health, saying American lives are at risk.
We are pushing back against misinformation, that we are conveying accurately that the vast majority, 99.5% of people who are going to hospitals are not vaccinated.
The Surgeon General cited a study which says even brief exposure to misinformation made people less likely to want a COVID-19 vaccine. This comes as new cases are up double digits in nearly every state, and they're up 50% or more in 32 states.
We anticipated that we would see in areas with high vaccination, low case rates, and now we see in areas of low vaccination, very high case rates.
There's also increasing concern about low vaccination rates among adolescents. About 25% of 12 to 15-year-olds have been fully vaccinated as students prepare to return to the classroom.
In many states, there are different policies for how these teens will get vaccinated. Some haven't, prioritized it. Some don't have the information. Some parents want to have more information about this vaccine for younger kids.
CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky believes if people take action now, we can avoid a spike in cases this fall. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Washington.
Dr. Walensky added that children aren't just behind on COVID vaccines. She says pediatric vaccinations are down about 12 million doses for all vaccines, including measles, mumps, and rubella. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz signed an executive order today restricting conversion therapy for LGBTQ youth in the state, a widely discredited practice aiming to change a person's sexual orientation or gender identity. At least 20 other states have banned conversion therapy. Minnesota joins 4 other states whose governors took executive action to stop the practice.
We once again call upon our colleagues in the legislature to pass a comprehensive ban on this practice so that no more of our children will ever have to suffer the trauma of being told that they need to change from the person they were born to be.
Governor Walz's actions today don't outright ban the practice, as some states have done, but it bars public funds from being used for it. To actually outlaw the practice rests with state lawmakers. Our drought is causing issues at boat launches. The DNR says some people are having a tough time getting their boats in or out of the water at public boat launches. In many places, the concrete ramps at launches aren't reaching all the way into the water, and hazards like prop wash holes can become more problematic. When water levels are low, people are more likely to back their trailers past the ramp's end and get stuck. The DNR is encouraging you to check the firmness of the gravel at the ramp's end and the water depth before using it, and choosing a different lake or river if you have to. Millions of working families got their first installment of the increased child tax credit today. The monthly payment is part of the American Rescue Plan that Congress passed in March. Elise Preston tells us how it works.
Payments for nearly 60 million children, totaling $15 billion, went out today. President Biden says the increased child tax credit will give working families some breathing room and halve child poverty rates in America.
This has the potential to reduce child poverty in the same way that the Social Security reduced poverty for the elderly.
The monthly payments will help more families right away, like mother of 2 Evelyn Mitchell Irby. The Memphis real estate agent temporarily stopped working to battle breast cancer.
Just taking the time off and the recuperation and things like that, not to mention just the mental struggle.
The child tax credit is up from $2,000 to $3,600 for kids under 6 and $3,000 for older children. Half the money will be paid out over 6 months. Parents will have to claim the rest on their tax returns, and families have to make under a certain amount to qualify. For a married couple filing jointly, that's $150,000 or less. The IRS will send out money based on last year's tax return. So people who started making more money this year and no longer qualify for the credit need to go to irs.gov and opt out.
Because if you get it and you don't qualify, you have to pay back that money to Uncle Sam next tax season.
Mitchell Irby is now cancer-free and working again, but the extra money is welcome after months of lost wages.
Everything has increased, so at least being able to help put a dent in some of those bills will be great.
A financial boost helping her move forward as she puts the past year behind her. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Families that make no income will also receive the credit. You can go to the IRS Child Credit Portal for more information. We showed you a live look at the street fair just a few moments ago. People are packing downtown Fargo for the annual event. Today until Saturday, downtown Fargo from Main Avenue North to 7th Avenue along Broadway will be filled with 200 artists and crafters. This fun is expecting more than 150,000 people over the 3-day span. The petting zoo, face painting, and pop-up prairie stands are only a few of the things you can check out. Fair organizers say there's also live entertainment and fun for the whole family.
It has something for everybody. I mean, we have things for men to do, we have things for women to do. You can bring your kids and have fun with them without spending any money. There's something for everybody, whether you're 5 or 85.
The event will run until 9 o'clock tonight and pick up again at 10 a.m. tomorrow and Saturday. A few traffic notes. Broadway is closed north from Main Avenue to 7th Avenue North, NP Avenue, 2nd Avenue North, and 6th Avenue North. A half block of each side of Broadway are all closed with access to the alleys still open. We have a parking guide, maps, anything you might need right on our website, valleynewslive.com. One company you might not expect to see at the street fair, Marvin, a window and door manufacturing company. Rather than selling windows today, they're trying to find employees. Anyone who completes an application at one of their booths will receive $20 in cash. They're also doing on-the-spot interviews and have already made some offers today. We'll have more on their unique approach to recruiting tonight on Valley News Live at 6. We've got the scoop on a new ice cream store now open in South Fargo. Scoop and Dough opened their second location today. It's at 4600 32nd Avenue South. Scoop and Dough says this new spot will offer an expanded selection of ice cream, cookie dough, and other treats. And if you stop in during this grand opening week, you could win free ice cream for a year. Consumer advocates are finding problems with several items sold on Amazon, from children's pajamas to carbon monoxide detectors. We'll have that story and more coming up.
Temperatures soaring up to near 90 once again today as the heat builds. Smoke will continue to be a problem as well. We'll keep our eyes on that, and we'll talk about a heat wave ahead. Details in your forecast are next.